Hi guys, it's me, Teresa Perrin. I come with great news today because Redbox is currently back at a short interest above 105%, which means that more than the entire free float has been shorted. That doesn't even cost all of the alleged naked shorts in this play and all of the failure to delivers, which essentially are naked shorts because they're shares that they can't deliver because they don't have them, guys. So this is fabulous, fabulous news for anybody involved in Redbox. There's currently no shares available to borrow. Utilization is at 100%. Guys, retail owns this float, and guess what? That means we set the price. So know what you own, and let's get into this. Okay, guys, according to Ortex, we are still on the threshold list, and the short interest is 105.41%, with a cost to borrow max of 902.66% and average of 837.86%. Today, shorts borrowed 783.2 thousand shares, guys, and they only returned 92.26 thousand, which is how they drove the price down. So currently that change is they increased their short position by 690.94 thousand shares, which is why we saw the short interest increase to above 100% to 105.41. And if you saw during the day prior to this, several hours prior, the short interest was up to 104% that I had also retweeted. So guys, what this shows us is that they only returned a very small portion of what they borrowed, like 15% or less of the shares that they actually borrowed today. Now, did they use all of those shares today to short? That is questionable. They may have used those shares to cover failure to delivers because they had a lot of them, and that's what I think they're somehow maneuvering where they're getting them from to cover, robbing Peter to pay Paul, that sort of thing. So they're basically just kicking the can down the road longer, in my opinion. And I'm sure they use some of them to drive down the price to do that. And the reason I think that is because I believe that Greg caught them spoofing again. So you guys, I'm sure you know Greg from Twitter. Greg Antone, he's great. If you don't already, please follow him because he gives a lot of great DD on Redbox. Let's take a look at what I'm talking about here. Okay, Greg had tweeted this out earlier today, and this is the level 2. Now, if you look at the red here, there was an order, a sell order on the books, guys, for $5.10 back when Redbox was trading around $5. As you can see, the ask in there was $5.04 for the low. Now, normally when they start playing these games and putting in huge orders like this with no intent to actually sell those shares, it's called spoofing. And I don't see any evidence that these shares were actually sold. 85,154. I am very doubtful that this order got filled, and I think it was more of spoofing to drive the price down. Because what happens when people start looking at stocks in the level 2 to see price action? If they see a huge order like this to sell 85,000 shares, what do you think the odds are that somebody's going to want to buy that seeing that? Probably very, very low because it scares them. But this is a tactic that they use, and it's illegal. It's called spoofing to try to get people to sell. And given the fact that it's an odd random number like 85,154, I mean, unless a huge institution came in and gathered up all their sell orders all day long and placed one lump order like this, which I guess is another possibility, then that would be the only other reason that I would expect that, guys. But given what's going on today, I don't think much of retail is selling. Is it possible? Yes. But is it also possible they're spoofing? 100%. Now, another reason that leads me to believe that is look at the volume. See these 1-1? I mean, granted, yeah, I guess it's possible somebody's buying one share, but I don't know. I tend to wonder. Anyways, it's possible this was a spoofing order to scare people. It's possible also, well, no, because most of the trades that they're doing, guys, is in the dark pool, but I think they're putting most of the sell orders on lit exchange. So did they gather up a ton of sell orders all day and decide to put it all through at once? That's the other possibility. So in my opinion, it's one of those two things. As you can see, they are definitely playing games with the stock. I mean, it's very clear with the increasing cost to borrow, the increasing short interest on a daily basis. And I'm going to tell you that the retail that I know in this play, they're not selling. And if anything, they're buying more. So that's my opinion. Let's take a look at what Market Chameleon says in Fintel. According to Market Chameleon, Redbox traded a total of 5.9 million shares today, and 71% of the total volume was traded in the dark pool, guys. That's higher than average because our current average is at 70% of all trades on Redbox are traded in the dark pool. Yes, I know this is an extremely disgusting figure, and it's absolutely a way to manipulate the price. It's how they suppress it, guys, by keeping all of the volume off the lit exchange and in the dark pool so that it's not showing a desire that people are actually buying this stock when in fact they are buying this stock. Now, a total of 10,850 trades were done today, which gave us the total volume of that 5.9 million shares. And guys, it's important to know that 8% of the total volume today was traded in block trades, which represent institutional buying. And this is higher than normal. The sweep orders were 16% of the total volume. Sweep orders, so that you're aware, indicate an aggressive move to either bring the price up or bring the price down. And as you can tell by today's action, it was aggressively done to take the price down. Let's take a look at the difference that we see on Fintel. As usual, guys, this information is drastically different, which has to make you wonder how all of these sites cannot confirm the same information and why it is always different. Certainly makes me wonder. However, let's see what they say. Fintel is showing that the current short interest is 63.65% of the float, guys, when we currently have an Ortex update showing us that it's 105% of the float. So this is drastically different. And they're saying that 51.15% of today's trades were in the dark pool, when we just saw that 71% were, in fact, done in the dark pool. Currently, there are no shares left to borrow. So there are 0 shares left for them to short. And the cost to borrow is 908.99%. So guys, on a positive note with Fintel, since we don't always get the best information, at least we can see that the cost to borrow is going up. So these shares are getting harder for them to find, and it's costing them a lot more money when they do. Again, with the SPY rocketing right now and the interest rates rising, now we're seeing the cost to borrow go up. I do not see the benefits for shorts to continue holding this position. Right now, it's kind of like a battle of pride, I believe. I believe that's the only reason they have interest in holding their shares, because this is just crazy. Now, once again, let's take a look at the failure to delivers in case you have not seen any of my recent videos. As you can see, they are through the roof, guys. Like literally May and June, which we don't have July's information yet, but as of the last date, guys, these are huge, like huge. This has a tiny float, and these are at all-time highs. I mean, look at here in mid-June when it got over 3 million shares. I mean, they've already shorted the entire float. Now, the nakeds in here, the naked shorting has to be through the roof. Remember, we were looking at the T plus 35 for settlement, guys, which brings us to somewhere around this 2.314759 million. So 2,314,759 shares. Somewhere around here is what they have to come up with for tomorrow, which could be why in Ortex we saw such a huge number of borrows taken out, yet a small number of returns, but they still got to find the rest of those shares because they were only in the thousands, certainly not in the millions. So I don't know. That's yet to be seen. But guys, this stock has the potential to rocket at any time. It's only a matter of time, in my opinion. And if the SPY's pumping tomorrow, I will be shocked if we don't start to see some institutions cover their red box position. Because enough's enough. Like, they can't keep paying this 900% cost to borrow. If this goes up over 1,000, guys, consider it go time. The utilization's been at 100% for months. You know, there's nothing stopping us from a massive, massive squeeze in this position. Right now, I mean, I think they're still trying to sell us on the fact of CSSE. You know, when the merger does complete, we are all aware that CSSE will become, or our shares of Redbox will become 0.087 shares of CSSE. So guys, it's a risk factor that doesn't really matter at this point because, again, the vote is not until August 9th. Not only that, but just because the vote's August 9th, they're not going to close that day. They still have to file more paperwork with the SEC and get approval to do so. In the meantime, we heard again today the announcement that they're being investigated by a law firm for potentially going against shareholders' best interest with this deal. And guys, if they do indeed file suit, which I do not think will happen until after the shareholder vote due to strategic timing of things and the fact that they need to say, oh yeah, the shareholders unanimously have voted to approve the merger. And they will certainly come back and say, no, the shareholders didn't approve that, like not the common shareholders. That was based on, you know, the shareholders that were insider buyers, which demanded the sale due to the impending bankruptcy. That could have happened because, guys, again, it's hard to get people to loan you money when your stock has been shorted to oblivion. I mean, it really is. So I understand that people say that shorts don't cause companies to go bankrupt, but yes, ultimately they can. And that's why, because they make it impossible for them to get money. And I really believe, guys, that this is done intentionally, which is extremely sad because the red box, and I'm not talking about the red box again that you see in the grocery store to rent DVDs out of. If I see that one more time, it makes me want to scream. I am talking about the streaming platform Redbox, which is the whole reason why CSSE wants them. They don't care about the Redbox kiosks, although I bet in rural places where, you know, maybe they don't use those things, they're still popular, or with seniors, you know, that are used to not streaming and using old technology. I'm sure that they love going to Redbox. You know, just because we don't use it doesn't mean there's not a case for it. However, is it profitable? That's yet to be determined. However, the streaming platform has massive potential, especially if they have the funds to get the right people in there. Anyways, guys, my point is nobody is investing at this point in Redbox for fundamentals. So don't pay attention to all these little fudsters out there because, guys, they're going at it strong. And I guarantee you it's because they have short positions and they're trying to get you to sell and get the price down, because as the price rises, it hurts their bank accounts and it hurts their trading ability because they have to have funds in their account to cover those short positions as they rise, which means their equity is being tied up too. So why do you think they're going to dump it when this starts to rocket? Because they need those funds for something else. But guys, we're going to have to push them out. And I do believe it's about to come down, especially with the SPY rocketing. That's my take on it. Nothing I say is financial advice. Please always do your own DD. I am still long on Redbox. Never left. Not leaving. And I think that the opportunity here is absolutely phenomenal considering that more than the entire free float is shorted, meaning that, guess what? There's more shares shorted than actual shares. So they're going to have to pay our price that we demand. Please know what you own because that's the fact. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a fabulous rest of your night. Take care.